Yeah, buddy, it's finally time. Mega Man Battle Network, a fun RPG series with amazing puzzle-solving mechanics and a combat system that is still unique 2 decades later. Given to us by Capcom, who claims that it's one of their pillar franchises, along with Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, Street Fighter, and Devil May Cry, but they clearly don't give it nearly the love that it deserves. At the very least, they did give us the Battle Network Legacy Collection, which is all 6 games in a 2-volume collection. As a kid, I played 4, 5, and 6, and just couldn't find Battle Network 1 through 3, so I was looking forward to getting into these and seeing how they hold up. But my journey into the Legacy Collection is a little weird. This video is the first in my coverage of the Battle Network franchise, so why did I start with 2? Are you guys familiar with a very rare game known as Rockman EXE Operate Shooting Star? It's a remake of Battle Network 1, but it's a Japanese-only game. And while I can read and speak very basic Japanese, I knew there was no way I was going to make it through the first game through normal means. So instead, I went through some sinister methods and was able to play the game through an English patch. While that was going well, I ran into a tiny little problem. The version of the game I was playing kept hard freezing in the same location, right before heading into World 3's headquarters. So there was no way for me to keep playing. But what do I know? Yes, sir! Yeah! Battle Network 2. Our 11-year-old protagonist, Lan Hikari, is on his last day of school before summer vacation, along with his brother Navi Megaman.exe. We meet Dex, who is our punching bag, Meilu, or Male, I'll let you guys decide that one, and Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. The game constantly has no chill, and not even an hour in, we get multiple near deaths. That's right, the counter's coming back. Yai's Navi Glide gives the gang a call for help. She was taking a bath or something, and she hasn't come out yet. Dex comes in first so as to not put anyone else in harm, and then he doesn't come back. As Lan enters the house, he gets locked in and realizes there is a massive gas leak, putting all 3 kids in danger. Time to jack it. We jack into the ventilation system and expertly navigate through the wind currents, quick and easy so we can get straight to the boss, who is Airman, as well as his operator, Arashi. This dude's plan is to gas rich kids, put their lives in danger, and ransom them to their parents for easy millions. But the scammer life is not for him. Continuing the curse of the first Battle Network bosses, Airman only has 2 attacks. A blast that he shoots straight at you, and then little tornadoes that you need to navigate around. Yawn. Meanwhile, Arashi is about to get fired harder than anyone in history. You've had your last chance. What? And with that, our summer vacation begins with a bang. Please don't leave.
Oh, why you putting all that pep on now? Take that off of that!
Lan decides to become a city net battler, which is the equivalent of mall security. You're not an official battler, but it lets you become part of the neighborhood watch. In between multiple life-threatening scenarios, Lan will be raising his rank, but there's no meat to this part of the story, so they're basically fetch quests. We're not here to be good Samaritans though, we're here for the danger. No summer vacation is complete without a camping trip, and it wouldn't be Battle Network unless there was any danger. I was warned as some of the solutions to these puzzles and Battle Network were gonna be esoteric. Using a lighter, a piece of paper, and a torch, I created a torch to shoo away some bees. Then after being confronted by a bear, we searched for a solution for like 15 minutes, and the answer was behind a waterfall. It was binoculars, by the way. This one kind of broke my brain.
What?
Before we can enjoy barbecue time, an explosion goes off in the direction of the nearby dam. Working together with Chad, Lan's rival and the operator of Proto Man, we look around the campsite to deactivate the 4 detonators disguised as everyday objects. The PETs that carry navis, a canteen, another PET that was behind the waterfall, and then one on the bomber himself. And who's the culprit? It turns out to be some dude named Dave. It takes very little for him to fess up. This next part is ridiculous because Lan just jacks right into Dave's PET. Dave just stands there and lets him. Now, if I was either of these guys, things would not have been so sweet. As for the Quickman fight, this one was way more eventful than usual. Observe as I defeat him expeditiously. Oh. Alright. I see the problem. Whoa, cowboy. What he doing? Move around. Honest. I'm admitting it all. I didn't think that was gonna work. With the fight ending in a cowboy-styled quick draw, Dave allows himself to be arrested by the preteens.
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world.
New lore unlocked. Lan turns out to be a big foodie. He becomes pen pals with a stranger from Yumland and then decides to make a summer research project around amazing foods of the world. Coincidentally, a Navi named Shadow Man has been hired to topple the infrastructure of Yumland. This is one badass Navi. Complete opposite of the one that we run into first, Cutman. My folder's a complete mess, and I was guided by the homie Spielerman that, hey, if you just grind dash attack G, it'll carry you to the end of the game. And boy did it. So there's some advice for you guys. If you play Battle Network 2, just get yourself dash attack G, okay? It's by the doghouse. If you don't know about Spielerman, look him up on Twitch, okay? The guy is a well of knowledge, and hey, maybe he'll make an appearance later on in this video. I don't know. We get commissioned by our dad to steal Yumland's national treasure for the sake of keeping Netopia safe, of course. With Scilab's mother computer being invaded, we assist the official net battlers. To show how high the stakes are, they actually do sacrifice themselves so Mega Man can proceed with the mission. Going up against Shadow Man, he's looking like the most competent enemy that we've ever faced. Some of his Shadow clones are dealing with Proto Man, while our dad invents the Masanko. How the hell do you say that? Makankosapo to one-shot Shadow Man. And to ensure that we succeed, Proto Man pulls a Goku and holds him in a full Nelson. Of course, Shadow Man's goons take the hit, and then we end up having to fight him man-to-man. This battle's pretty fun and tricky, but with Life Sword on my side, we do manage to defeat him on our first try. By no means elegantly, but hey, a dub is a dub. Nacho wins!
Chill, man, chill!
The story is beginning to escalate, not just in the difficulty of the battles, but in what's actually happening. Lan gets a ticket to go to Netopia for the Net Battlers Global Conference to get together and find a way to deal with Gospel once and for all. Before I take to the skies, I battle Mr. Famous and the Gate Man. Ah! What the fuck is this? What the fuck is that? Was that? Okay. In my culture, in the Dominican Republic, we have our own version of the Boogeyman. It is called El Cuco. Don't know how to spell it. It's just called El Cuco, the Cuco. And it is basically the Boogeyman. He climbs into your window in the middle of the night and he kidnaps you if you're a kid that misbehaves. That's what that shit reminds me of. It was just a big hairy arm coming to grab me. What in the hell? It's El Cuco! There he is again! Melu sees us off and our trip to Netopia begins. Unleash the crimes. We get pickpocketed, we get assaulted by Toadman, we get robbed for all the chips that are not in our battle folder. This all happens within 5 minutes of landing, by the way. Lan's stress gets the best of him, and he ends up ditching Mega Man in his hotel room. After a brief chat with Higsby, he returns to the hotel room to make up with Mega Man, only to find out that now his passport's been stolen. Bruh. We head to the hood, and just Lan being here is gonna count as a near death, okay? Because this is definitely a PvP zone. Speaking of, now is probably the best time for me to say, hey, if you guys are enjoying the video so far, do consider, liking, subscribing, dropping a comment, letting me know what you like so far, or anything I can improve upon. I come from a place like this, and I am not trying to go back. On a more positive note, we are halfway to the 1,000 sub goal, and I really couldn't have done it without you guys, so thank you. We speak to the mayor of the hood, a small child named Jim, and his badass named Raul, the operator of Thunderman. We get our passports back, and then we fight Miss Millions and Snake Man for our chips. Day 1 in the hood, survived. Would you believe me if I said this is the tame part of this arc? The Net Battler meeting begins, bringing familiar faces from the future, such as Action Johnson, Jennifer, and Princess Pride. We finally find out what Gospel's deal is. Apparently they're gathering up super programs to create the ultimate Navi, one that's unbeatable, indestructible, and just too damn handsome. Before we can share any more information, we get airdropped into the dungeon scenario. Gospel sent an agent to sabotage the meeting, and they're taking our team out one by one. I don't think we've ever had this much violence in any of the games I've covered so far. For example, here we have Lan and Princess Pride about to get crushed from a ceiling, only for her to not make it on the other side. We run into a dying Jennifer, who informs us that the Net Battler of Gospel is disguised as one of our own. Lan's journey would have had a horrific end, and if not for Melu giving us a wireless adapter for Lan to jack into unreachable places, he would have been fried. With Raul being taken down as well, this only leaves one person as the culprit. Chad thinks it's us, we think it's him, so we beat him and find out it's actually Princess Pride the whole time. My muscle memory from fighting Nightman decades ago kicks in, and the only word I have for him is blast off! Pride's motivation seems to be revenge on the world. Her homeland of Creamland was one of the first places to get on the net, so they prospered early on, but they were left behind in the dust when the other nations caught up. Another subtle hint that things aren't great with her were the bags under her eyes from being overworked. Chad assures us that our beef between each other is not over, and with that, we call it an end to Lan's overseas adventures.
Enough is enough! I have had it with these
It's time to head back to Netopia. After such an eventful trip, Lan arrives to be greeted by his friends and an especially affectionate Melu. Yeah, life is good. That is, if things were to happen the way they were supposed to. Get ready for one last bumpy ride. Lan wakes up from his dream where he calls himself Melu's captain. Hey, yo! Instead of a peaceful, uneventful plane ride, we have a poisonous spider on the loose. Fortunately, we use the conveniently placed animal expert to help us deal with this, but only after MacGyvering a trap to catch it. A box, a stick, some strings, and some whiskey. Because just like my ex, this thing is attracted to the smell of expensive whiskey. Lan gets into a freestyle battle, and we team up with DJ and Jeff Bezos to capture the spider. Crisis over, right? Nope. Once again, this was the warm-up. Everything on the plane begins to malfunction. The right wing, the rudder, the cabin pressure program, the throttle.
Something's wrong with the left phalange.
And of course, the landing program. Everything leads us to Magnet Man and his operator, Mr. Goss, a billionaire with a lot of power and influence, but was so salty at society that he was going to crash the airplane that he was on.
Now what's the next step of your master plan?
Crashing this plane.
And before you ask, no, we don't know what his plan was to survive. Could there be a bigger plot hole here?
Could I get some peanuts?
Get no sleep cause of y'all. Y'all not gonna get no sleep cause of me.
This next arc is very, very long and extremely uneventful. So I'll try and make it as entertaining as possible for you guys, okay? Remember in Star Force 3 when Club Strong took over Aloha's environmental system? It seems that Gospel has done a mass scale version of this, and now little calamities are happening all across the globe. Throughout the net, unbreakable ice blocks are in our way, stopping us from rescuing complete no-name NPCs that have the codes that let us upgrade our ice-breaking abilities. We also meet and battle a reformed Mr. Match, the highlight of this arc. I found out that I'm too broke to continue this arc, so I take a break and return the next day.
6 hours later.
So after about 6-ish hours of backtracking, we find the culprit, the supposed supreme commander of Gospel, Freezeman. How did the fight go? Alright, first time fighting Freezeman. Let's see what he's got. This feels weird. This feels weird. I feel like I'm getting trolled. Oh, come on. Wind, fan, gate man. Mash, 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 mash. Is that GG? I think I just won. I think I just won. Bro, why did they allow Gator in the game? That was fucked up. I didn't even get to see what Freezeman gets to do. Nacho wins. To put an end to Gospel once and for all, we need to head to their base, Kotobuki Town, which is currently putting out unbelievable electromagnetic radiation. Exactly how much is just plain fucking bananas. Now, I'm not an expert or a doctor, but I do know someone who is. Dr. Maple, take it away.
Thanks, Nacho. I'll take it from here. First, we got to talk about exposure to radiation. Now, exposure to radiation is measured in millivolts or grays. The world's annual average exposure is about 2.4 millivolts per year, which equals to about 0.0024 grays. Pretty harmless. Now, with Kotobuki being 10,000 times the average, we're looking at 24 grays. 5 grays can kill you in about a week. Lan is getting well over a year's worth every hour. Every single hour, he is getting blasted by like way more than you should. And to really put it in perspective, Chernobyl in '86 was clocked in at 34 grays, which is enough to kill a grown man in 10 to 20 minutes. Lan is 11. That's pretty much it.
Thank you for that, Doctor. Nah, I'm sure Lan will be fine because his dad gave him a special radiation suit and a one-way ticket to Kotobuki Town. Which, by the way, due to the radiation, is beginning to merge with the cyber world. Also, our dad was wrong. The radiation levels are 30,000 times higher than normal, not 10,000. So thanks, Dad. Now, this place is pretty fucked. We see people getting destroyed by the radiation in front of us. These are actual confirmed deaths. And if things can get any worse, oh no. Right off the heels of the Freezeman arc, we go through by far the most frustrating and confusing dungeon in the entire game, and possibly the whole series. You travel through broken warps to find mystery data to fix the warps and hopefully inch your way forward to the end.
3 hours later.
So at the end of the first part of this, we have a 3-boss gauntlet to get through, and then another 3 bosses afterwards. Fortunately, I can tell you exactly how all 6 of these fights started/ended, through the combination of multiple program advances such as Life Sword, Cannon, and the infamous Gator, or something far more sinister, the Prism plus Tree Bomb combination. And let me just show you guys exactly what that looks like. I don't remember them ever doing that before. Okay, so it was Prism into Tree Bomb, right? Let's give it a try, because he was a lazy bum? Damn! How do I do this? What the fuck? Why did it do that? It didn't trigger any damage. It didn't give me any notification. It didn't do anything. It just killed him instantly. Lan gets zapped by a door because it was 50,000 times the normal radiation. Because that's how radiation works in this game, I guess.
Hey, there's nothing you can do. You're not walking away from that area.
Standing face to face with the true leader of Gospel, we find out very little, just that they don't really have any sympathy for society, and that with the program stolen throughout the game, they can create a super Navi to destroy society. If you guys were able to keep up during all the radiation talk, maybe you can understand this part too. Mega Man's friends show up at the final comp, but they turn out to be copies of our friends. Our real friends show up to save us from the fakes. Then a copy of Proto Man comes in and attacks them all, and then the real Proto Man comes in and stops his copy. I promise you this looked way more confusing in the original footage. Either way, none of it matters. The Super Navi's completed, and the Gospel Leader tells us its name is Bass. Oh, sorry, Base. And that he can make an infinite army of them. Believe it or not, I beat him using the Prism Tree Bomb strat as well. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. GG's, my boy. Yo! Crap! Sorry, Base. Back in the real world, Mr. Glowstick is gone and replaced with an angsty teen. Does he look familiar? He was on the plane that Mr. Goss was planning to hijack and crash. The leader of Gospel was on the plane that they were trying to crash. And for maximum corniness, he tells us his reasoning for all the chaos and destruction that he caused. He was so tired of getting picked on. That's an oversimplification. He was actually abused by the parents that raised him after his original parents were gone. The radiation reaches a whopping 100,000 times normal, so now we're in the full Chernobyl range. In a last-ditch effort to defeat us, using the flawed copy of Base and a ton of bug frags, Base transformed into a large wolf-like monster, which I later was informed that is a reference to his partner Treble. Also, the radiation levels hit about 500,000 millisieverts, which at this point I think is well beyond the biggest radiation disaster we've ever had.
100k times the normal. It's just like, yeah, no. See you later, Lan. You're done.
We get one last motivational push through the power of friendship, or in this case brotherhood, and we take on Gospel. You can probably take a really good guess as to how this battle ended. I'm a greedy guy, and so I collected all the pieces of Exodia, and GG. Yeah, boy. Oh, we gonna get him. The two boys should be more radioactive than Spider-Man after drinking a Bang energy drink, but instead they're completely fine. Lan picks up a news article telling us that his parents passed away in a plane crash 5 years ago, and I'm not going anywhere near the irony of that scenario. And despite the amount of near deaths / definite confirmed deaths that this would cause, Lan tells him that, hey, I'll be your friend, but only after you get done atoning for what you did. How's about 300 years of jail sound? Now, with a firm handshake from Chad and our dad implying that the still unnamed gospel leader was being manipulated by someone else, that wraps up the story of Battle Network 2. Best summer ever! Hey everybody, I really hoped you enjoyed this video. I've never played the first 3 Battle Network games, so I'd say we're off to a pretty good start. As usual, I do appreciate any feedback, be it positive or negative. I'm extremely grateful for anyone who even clicks on these videos and gives me some of their time, you know? I also have to point out that the Mega Man community has been very, very welcoming, and the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive, and I'm just really grateful that you guys are so cool. I'm gonna try and pick up the pace on releasing videos, so if you guys do like and subscribe, it helps the algorithm. You'll also be able to know when the Battle Network 3 video drops, and that's one that you really don't want to miss, I promise that. As usual, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.